Vexed, the hyena, again, goes off to a safe distance. Out of breath, the cheetah isn't too sure that she'll have a meal today. She'd better just go back to her little ones, or maybe make one last attempt under the watchful gaze of the hyena, who more than ever is looking for his slightest chance. By now, other hyenas are present, curious to see how well the cheetah will do. With energy born of hopelessness, the cheetah begins a frantic chase in pursuit of a canoe, but she lacks conviction and is too soon out of breath. Even the gallery of watching hyenas doesn't think that she'll succeed. However, they join others of their pack and profit from the panic caused by the cheetah to attack a wounded canoe. The lone hyena would very much like to join the party. Well, aren't there cordial relations among all members of the same species? No cordial relations at all. A very strict social order determines relationships among individuals in groups of hyenas. The loner is not part of this group, so the dominant female directing the group chases him away in no uncertain terms. Nothing can be done, so it's best just to melt away into the distance. The dry season is drawing to a close, and carnivorous animals are finding less and less game, and they're growing weaker. The hyena has been walking for a week, looking for food, doing anything to blot out the terrible pangs of hunger. He has just about enough strength to stand up and return to his lair. Oh, he knows the vultures are waiting for just one thing, for him to lie down and not get up. But hyenas belong to a species with incredible resistance. Gathering up all his strength, he sets off on his quest. He isn't lucky and doesn't have the strength of a lion, but all the same, his plight isn't so bad compared to that of the warthog that the lioness has no hesitation in devouring while still alive. The hyena was right to wait around for a while. At last, there is a reward because the lioness leaves the warthog carcass after eating only the entrails. Finally, something to eat. Even among lions, survival isn't always so easy, at least not for the cubs. They may be the offspring of the animal king, but their future is often compromised. Power and strength characterize the lion, but the cubs are vulnerable, and danger lurks everywhere, even within their own group. Actually, among the lions, everybody seems to be getting along with a certain intelligence. The females within a family are taking good care of the little ones. A female will submit to any sort of nuisance from the cubs, and will even take care of the ones that are not her own. So the females remain calm, but it's quite different with the males. They guarantee reproduction, and they protect the females and the cubs, but they can turn dangerous for the cubs. Unmindful of his tremendous strength, a male who is annoyed by a cub teasing him just might kill the youngster with a swipe of his paw. Lions like to live in a stable family group, and yet the young ones, especially the newborn, are always vulnerable. Prudently, a female about to give birth distances herself from the group and finds a lair where she can have her cubs. She wants to find a natural hiding place where hyenas and jackals and cheetahs can't get at the little ones, and to keep them safe from the male lions that might come to take them. A female may have as many as 6 cubs at a time, but only 1 in 5 will survive to adulthood. Cubs are most fragile during the first 20 months. Then they are young adults. The mother lioness has to leave her cubs in the hiding place and go out to forage for food, but she never knows whether when she returns she's going to find them dead or alive. Will they escape the prowling predators? The lioness is now isolated from her group, and she has to hunt alone. Her predatory hunting instincts have to overcome her maternal feelings. She must go off to hunt even though solitary male lions are prowling the area. They pose an enormous danger for the newborn cubs. If a male lion discovers them, he will probably kill them at once. Time is of the essence. The female must get back as quickly as possible. A lion, alerted by the noises, emerges from a thicket. A male lion does very little in life. He sleeps and takes care of reproduction, protects the group, and eats to his fill whatever the lionesses bring in from the hunt. And usually he's first in line. The lioness is well advised to catch her breath quickly and start eating as much as she can to regain her strength before the male shows up. "5 kilograms, 10 pounds of meat every day. That's what every male or female lion requires for survival. But one might eat up to 35 kilograms, 70 pounds, at a single meal. The effort has been so strenuous, the lioness has to recuperate for a good 10 minutes before feeling strong enough to begin eating. Drawn to the food, the male approaches the female. She submits because she knows the social order within lion groups. Males take first. Hence the lion's share, and here it literally means that he takes all the best pieces for himself, and he takes them before anyone else in the group. A male lion can be the most powerful predator of the savannah if he chooses. He's fearless. No animal would ever approach his killed prey. The lioness can only wait, resigned to the situation, and go off to her cubs. Returning from the hunt, the young mother lioness has to make her presence known. A cruel surprise awaits her. Her little ones had a surprise visit from a solitary male lion that happened upon them. Only one cub remains, but it's dead. She takes it and wanders through the savannah for a long time. Before she can bring herself to give up the cub's body to the vultures. Accused of killing for pleasure, predators have incurred a bad reputation, and yet, for over half a century, many scientific studies have proven their usefulness. A number of predators are key species that enrich their region and determine the structure of animal communities. They maintain a good balance between various species. Attempting to suppress the predators to protect nature is a mistake, because any place without predators is not a stable environment. On the contrary, it's an artificial habitat made poorer and more fragile. Following an implacable and ferocious law, by attacking the most vulnerable individuals, predators remove weak and sick animals from nature to the benefit of the stronger animals. For all that, the life of a predator is not so simple. Nature's implacable law applies to them, too. A sick predator, one that is wounded or not very good at the art of hunting, will in turn disappear. Learning to be a good hunter requires a long period of instruction. For example, a female cheetah has to take great pains teaching her young to hunt, so they learn to recognize and stalk down their future prey. They have to be taught how to choose prey, sense all its reactions, and know how to get it. Most important, young cheetahs have to master the essential swipe of the paw that knocks running prey to the ground. As a rule, the cheetah is certainly a superb sprinter, but since they can't take the quick turns at high speed while running, they have to rely on striking their prey precisely and forcefully with one paw, throwing it off balance and dropping it to the ground. The students learn this by practicing on a young live antelope provided by their mother. In the broadest sense, being a predator is feeding on other living creatures. Under that definition, practically all animals are predators. It's just a matter of scale. In the savannah, baboons are, for the most part, omnivorous. But sometimes they reveal themselves as accomplished predators. The males have no hesitation in attacking other mammals that they may encounter on their way. They can be terrifying opponents. Their bite is awesome. A powerful dominant male has caught a small gazelle. He doesn't wait for the prey to die before devouring it, right in front of his underlings. This male may leave a few scraps for others, but only after he's had his fill. In the savannah, death is a part of everyday life. The baboons set off for new horizons. But predators are not limited to attacking weak herbivores. They devour other predators, and at every opportunity. Some animals are completely oblivious to the danger present along the riverbanks. Like young baboons, apparently, the smaller the predator, the more invulnerable they feel. Foolhardy or oblivious, the baboons have apparently decided to tempt the devil, and this particular devil is a crocodile. For the young ones, the game is approaching the riverbank as close as possible, but for the older ones, the most exciting provocation is in actually drinking from the river very close to a crocodile who's pretending to be asleep. It would seem that the one taking the greatest risk is matching himself against the most dangerous predator of the river. A youngster takes one chance too many and things get dramatic. The alert is sounded, but it's too late. The entire group looks on helpless, seeing the young baboon in the jaws of the hungry crocodile. In the world of the predator, you pay for the slightest mistake. But along the river banks, the crocodiles don't always have it their way. Facing a hippopotamus, the law of the stronger and the bigger holds, and the hippos move right in to use their heavyweight position to provoke the crocodiles. The hippos and the crocs live together in the river. The crocodiles may present no direct threat to the hippos, but all the same, they might go for a young, defenseless crocodile. Defending territory, provoking, hippos are quick to show disdain for the crocodiles as soon as they're big enough to intimidate them, and in response, the crocodiles feign indifference. Even the youngest get in the game. On dry land, the adult crocodiles do their best to frighten the hippos. They multiply their efforts, but the massive creatures don't believe a word of it, so to speak. If duels between adults held on land seem not really dangerous for the combatants, it's not the same in the river, when the crocodiles are again in their preferred hunting ground. In the aquatic element, a crocodile is ruthless, facing a young hippo. Didn't realize how dangerous it is to get separated from the group. Cunningly, the crocodile approaches slowly. Very calmly, it pursues the prey, waiting for the right moment to strike. Feeling safe, not sensing exposure to any danger, the hippo swims down in the water. And the crocodile glides effortlessly. He's in no hurry. In this unequal pursuit, the two animals rise to the surface. It only remains for the crocodile to pounce and pay no penalty. The only place to satisfy a thirst is in the river, and that's where every danger lurks. But nature isn't fair. Some risk everything, others face virtually no danger. Take the giraffe, gaining considerable protection from its great height. Still, it's in mortal danger drinking at the river, because it has to spread its legs, and in this uncomfortable position, the giraffe is highly vulnerable. If there's no shortage of game here, it's because every year the migration cycle of the herbivores of Serengeti conducts 1.5 million gnus and countless other animals across the Masai Mara Plateau to Kenya to spend the summer. Waterholes and the whole environment provide predators with a happy hunting ground, and these meat-eaters take full advantage. Nevertheless, the actual hunting is far from assured. As always, some succeed and others fail, but it's not because there's no game. Some prey defend themselves with enough energy to repulse the most ferocious attacks. With 4 against 1, the cheetahs seem to have achieved their goal. But such combats don't always end as predicted. It would appear that the cheetahs have the advantage, but that doesn't take into account the endurance of their opponent or the canoe's instinct for survival. Despite the ferocious attack he has endured, will the canoe's stubborn refusal to give in result in his eluding his attackers? Thrown off balance by the canoe's sustained fury in managing to escape their claws and teeth, the cheetahs seem unable to administer the fatal blow. Suddenly, in an astounding burst of energy, against all odds, the canoe does manage to escape from all those predators. Totally exhausted by all this, the cheetahs give up. In this immense jumble of thousands of canoes and zebras and gazelles, as we have seen, the most fearful moments of their long migration trek come when they have to cross the river. But paradoxically, if it's their great number that attracts predators, it's also their massive numbers that provide their best defense against the feared crocodiles. The canoes throw themselves into the river, where the crocodiles await them to conduct them to their doom. But there is such a density, so many animals churning in all directions. In this confusion of horns and hooves, the crocodiles are confused, unable to find a precise target. Some of them even stomp on crocodile heads in their frantic, panicky movements. This superabundant flow of animals disorients the predators, but any animals that stray from the central melee, any out on their own, are instantly victims of ferocious crocodile attacks. The prey is seized in a single leap, the victim rendered rigid by the pain of the bite, held firmly in those massive jaws, and the crocodile begins to devour the animal. Often several others quickly come to share the feast, unless the first crocodile can manage to plunge the prize to the bottom of the river. If there were not predators on the Great Plains of the African savanna, it would create a major imbalance in the proper development of the ecosystem. Nature creates a balance where each animal has its place in the food chain. All species reproduce and evolve according to a cycle that allows them to live together in the same territory. Without predators, some species would overdevelop to the detriment of others, possibly resulting in the extinction of species.